Alright, this is going to be a tutorial on regression in median fit lines. That's coming from Chapter 4, Section 6. So in class, we wrote down years with the income for how much money movies made. If you missed that in class, if you can read my handwriting, you'll need to copy down that table there. And I know it's a little blurry, but you can still see the numbers right in here, so pause it and copy those down first. Okay. Now, before we were able to use those points, put them on a graph, that would be a scatter plot, and then find a line that was the best fit line for the data. Now, we could do that and find the equation, but we can also now use our calculator. So, you're going to grab your TI-83 calculator. And we were able to do this in class a little bit. And we started by putting in our data by hitting the stat button. Okay. Now, when we hit the stat button, we hit the edit. So right now that 1 is highlighted. So I'm going to go ahead and push enter at the bottom. And then we put the numbers in to our list 1 and to our list 2. Oh, and I wish it wasn't so blurry. Okay. Now that we have those entered in, you can see it goes all the way down to the bottom. Once you have those in, if we want, we could see that on the graph. Now, right now, if you hit the graph button, you probably don't see anything. If you do, that's great. But we see the points on mine is up here. You may not be able to see this though. So we need to turn that option on. Since it's a scatter plot, you see this, it says stat plot up here. Can't read it on mine because it's blurry. But you're going to hit the second, y equals, and yours probably says plot 1 off. Mine says on. So you need yours to also say on. So you're going to push the enter button at the bottom. And your off is probably highlighted like that. You will want to have the on highlighted. So you can push enter again by pushing the enter button. So then your on is highlighted. And then we can see how it's going to look, which is going to be the scatter plot. And it also is taking it from your X is list 1 and your Y is list 2. If for some reason yours does not say L1 and L2, you'll need to put that in. And to do that, it would be the second 1 button for list 1 and the second 2 for list 2. Okay? Now that you have that on, hit the graph. And now you should see dots that look kind of like mine, except yours won't be so blurry. Okay? Now we want to find the equation that would go through that line. So rather than drawing it out, we can use our calculator. So in order to do that, we're going to hit the stat button again. And right now edit is highlighted. You're going to arrow over to calc. And it's a linear regression, which is just a fancy name for best fit line. So you can arrow down to 4 and push enter, or you can hit 4. And then your screen will look like this, and you'll see the blinking cursor. Then you can go ahead and just push enter. Then you'll get something that looks like that. Ooh. So it says y is equal to ax plus b. Now, what is that really super close to? Y is equal to mx plus b. I'm not sure why they use a, but it's the same thing as m, and m is our slope. So we have to look at the numbers it's giving us. So it gives us our a, which is 0.238214, all that. Okay? We are going to round that to the first 2 places. So it's going to be 0.24. Okay? So a, which is our slope, is 0.24. So we're going to put that down So far, we need to write an equation. So your equation, you would have y is equal to mx plus b. You are putting that 0.24 in for your m, and we need our y, and then we need to put in our b. And the next thing down in our calculator is our b. And our b is 8.2999664, all that. So we're going to round that. If I round that, it rounds up to 8.3, okay, because it's 299, so it's going to round it up to 3. So you're going to put that into your equation. So it'll look like that. So our slope is 0.24, and our y-intercept is 8.3. All right? Now the last thing on here, we see this R2 and R. For now, we are skipping R squared. Don't even look at that. We're looking at this bottom part of R. This is our correlation coefficient. R represents that. And we see it's 0.70635, all that. Now, first off, is it positive or negative? It's positive. So we know it has a positive correlation, so we know it's going to be going upwards. Now it's 0.71-ish, if I round it, 0.71. Now, 0.71, remember I said think about that as a percent. 0.71, would we say it's a super great correlation or not very good or kind of in the middle? So I would say that's okay. All right, so the correlation is okay. All right, so we know how to do that now. So whenever you have any sort of data, you can put it in and you're able to get your equation. Now, if we wanted to, make sure this equation works, actually goes through those points. We're going to use our calculator. We're going to hit the y equals button, and we're going to put that equation into y1 equals. So I'm going to put that in 0.24x. You see that x is next to the green alpha button, plus 8.3. Now that I have that, I'm going to graph it, and I should see a line. And when I look at it, I say, yeah, look at that. I see my data, but I also see my best fit line. And you know what? That looks like it would go through that. Okay. All right. So if your window does not look like this, you can change that by hitting the zoom and do zoom standard. So you can arrow down to 6 or push 6. And then you'll have it in that window. All right, that's the first one we are learning how to do. We're also learning how to do a median fit line. So, median fit line, write this down. Median fit lines is a calculator that uses the medians. So rather than using just the data, it's now going to use the median. If you remember that word median, that means the middle numbers. So we're going to use that same data. So we put the data under our stat button, and under edit, we still have that. Now, rather than doing a linear regression, which is what we did before, I'm going to hit clear so that's gone. We're now going to do a median fit line. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to hit stat. We already have our data in, so we're going to arrow over to calc. And now we're going to find the median fit line. And that is 3. Med, which means median fit line. And we're going to go ahead and push enter. And we have it up, blinking cursor. We're going to run that. And we'll see that same sort of thing come up. But this time, we don't have any sort of correlation coefficient. We just have our slope. We just have our y-intercept. So now we would go ahead and put that into our equation. And again, I'm going to round my slope to 0.24, x plus 8.21. Okay, so now your equation is really similar to the last one. We have the same slope, but this time we have a different y-intercept. And the only reason for that is that our calculator uses the middle numbers rather than all of the points to figure this out. So it's just another way in order to find an equation. So we have this equation for linear regression and this equation for our median fit lines. So it is very important that we know when to use what. And so on your homework, you need to make sure that you read really carefully if it asks you to do a linear regression or if it asks you to use median fit. And the only difference it's going to make is which button you push under the calc. So that means you're either going to do 3 or you're going to do 4. And you just have to make sure you read so you know which one is which. All right, so that ends the two different calculator things that we learned about. So now you should be set in order to do the homework. And your homework for 4-6 is 1 through 4 and 7 through 10, okay? It will also ask you in order to do some figuring out certain points, but you shouldn't know how to do that. If you're not sure, look at the examples. All right, so you're all set. Please email me with any questions that you have, or else I'll just plan on collecting that homework for you next time.